we're finally flipping through those last two projects from fall. So let's get into it. Hi, I'm Kelly and welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios. And we're going to finish up this pocket letter so you can see how it came together. And then we're going to do a flip through of the tag ring that I finished while I was at Big Mama's last month. So I'm going to start with, I decided against doing any fibers on this one. I decided to do a collar or leash made from an old purse strap. And I had this dog paw in a collection, and Top Dog, I believe, was in that kit that of dog themed charms that I got at Dollar Tree last week. So before I got that secured in place with a brad, and I'm going to just kind of move it off to the side. And I'm going to pull these out and we're going to get things glued together. One of the reasons I hadn't done this yet is because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. You'll have that. So we're just going to pull these out, and I'm going to set this over to the side so it's out of the way. And I know that this one, where is my brown? Here it is. I'm using walnut stain for this. And it's an early espresso, so let's use let's do early espresso. It's right here. That's what I was using on everything anyway. So let's use our early espresso. And I'm just going to dust the edges here. Now I do have some fibers coming off on this. And I probably should change this one. In fact, I think I will. Let's just get a new one out. And then we won't have to worry about the fluffy pieces coming off. Now Maddie does her dusting over a paper plate so that she can collect all those little fuzzies. But this is okay, this works. And I'll just relabel it. And it's going to fit right there at the bottom of that one. And then this one is going to go tucked just behind it, just enough to level up. Now after this one, the next video you're going to see coming up is going to be the Tuesday tag video, which we're going to be playing with Timmy for Tuesdays. And I'm going to try not to get them all out of sync because I leave for a writer's conference on Thursday. Excuse me. So I need to try and get as many of these done up as I can. Now I'm going to set that there, but I'm not pressing that top down because this top needs to tuck right in behind there. Just like that. Just enough to layer and position that where it's sitting right at the top, and then we can come back and press that into place. Then I'm going to dust this, and I think I already have, but we're going to give it another dusting just to be sure. And these are going to go up on dimensionals. Pull my dimensional book out here. I finally took time yesterday and got my project cart set up so that I can get to things that I need when I'm doing the tags and I'm not searching everywhere. That was pretty much my bonus for yesterday. But I'm going to be getting a lot of videos recorded ahead of time so that I can either set them to run before I leave, to get them scheduled up before I leave, or, now see, this one we don't have to glue down, but I do want to dust the edges, and then we'll slide it back in its pocket. Or I'll be uploading them while I'm at the hotel. I'll have them on the computer and just ready to go. So this one's going to go like that. I'm not even going to glue that one into place, because once it's in there, it's not coming out. Well, except for I should have left it out to put this in place, right? You'll have that. Now what would have been cool is if I'd have had, and you know we are going to glue that into place. We're just going to put a dot of glue, just enough to hold it in place. Right there. Is if I'd have had another acorn, that I could have, can I move that anymore? That I could have cut a second acorn out and put it on there so that the acorn was dimensional. But instead, we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on 3 corners, just like this. Now, I did get all of the fall stuff, crafting stuff put away yesterday off my counter, so I don't have to worry about it. And then I had this one tucked right up here in the corner, just like this. And then this one can slide back into its pouch. And then this one, again, we're going to dust the edges with our early espresso. And before we do that, let's run a bead of glue right there. Try to line that up as best I can. While I'm recording this, I have a deer wandering the front yard. She comes through about this time every day. She used to come with 2 or 3, and I think now she's just decided she just likes being on her own. And she's not afraid of us, which really bothers me because, you know, with hunting season coming up in just a few weeks, I would really like her to stay on my property because we don't hunt on our property. Funny story, Bob had plans of hunting on our property. That's why we got 25 acres so that he could hunt. And then I started naming the deer. And now he won't hunt because he doesn't know if he's, which one he's hunting. And it's getting harder with his hands for him to do any kind of butchering anyway, so it's all right. I want the deer to know that they're safe here. He'll be sitting out at the picnic table practicing on his gun range. And the deer will walk right up to the gun range, stand there and watch him. They're more curious than they are afraid. And if it's something they hear quite a bit, then they're okay with that. Now that acorn, it's not going to sit anywhere that I want it to sit, so we're just going to cover it, just like that. And I also notice I have some of that showing down here, so I'm going to trim this one off, just like this. And then I'll come back and dust that edge. And that one's done. I just thought I needed to pay homage to the dog on here. Thought he needed his own spot. So that's why I decided instead of doing fibers like I do on all the others, I would just give him a collar and a leash and let him do his thing. Because, you know, afternoon walks with the dog in the fall is such a nice way to spend an afternoon. Of course, I can't walk with Honeybee. He likes to pull too much. He wants to smell everything. Now this one we're going to treat like we did that one up there in the top. But I'm going to go ahead and dust it before I glue it into place, and then we'll probably come back and dust the whole thing once it's together. And it doesn't need to be a lot. But again, I'm not going to glue that top down and press it into place, because we're going to bring this one in. And this one we do need to dust. Hope I picked up the right one. It looked brown. I think this one is my smoke, or soot. Okay, and then this one, we can keep them from rolling away. This one we're going to dust around the edges with the glue, and then it's going to tuck right in here and it won't go anywhere. So I don't really need to glue that bottom edge in place. And then this one needs a little bit more dusting. So we'll come around and we'll do this. Whoops, got off the edge. That's okay. And then we're going to pop that up. One there. One on either corner. And this delineates what digital or what collection I used. And that was the Sound of Autumn by Ciao. Now we're going to set it right there. And then just to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and go around the whole thing. And that's our center square. And then we're going to do this one. Again, just enough to hold it together. And then this one, Autumn, the year's last loveliest smile. This evening is a full moon. It's the hunter's moon. And it's going to be gorgeous if we don't get the storms they're calling for. I do need to get me a little vial out and get my water out to charge in the moon. So I have a hunter's moon water in case I need it for something. Now this one doesn't need anything except I am going to secure him and then dust his edges, and then he'll be all ready for his collar. Just like that. Now because I just put the collar up there at the top, the holes are not compromised, so I don't need to do anything to this. I can just put it in the book the way it is. Then we have this one. And we're just about done with this. Sometimes if you do something like this and you know what you want to do, sometimes it's also a good thing to just walk away before you glue anything together and think about if that's where you want everything. And give you a chance to change your mind. Now this has been sitting here on my desk for a couple of weeks now. And now we have this one. Among all the leaves of autumn, you can recognize the one that instead of falling, tried to fly. I love that. Can't call him an overachiever. He just wanted to try and fly. Now remember, we always put, I think I'm out of frame here, we always put a dot in the center so you don't have a trampoline effect with your elements. And dimensionals really aren't that expensive, so better to have your piece be stable than to have your dimensionals lose their sticky because you were hoarding them. They will lose their adhesive, and then you're going to have to buy new ones anyway, so why not just use the ones you have? Okay, now I'll have this up in frame here in just a minute. I get some things out of the way here. I have my sticky mat down here so I can glue stuff and not have to worry about it. Now this one is a repeat of what we did in the top left and the center, so that we had our eye traveled downward. And I'm going to scribble that across there. And I am going to put glue across the top, but I'm not going to push that down into place. Just like that. And then we're going to dust this one. And this stripe made a really nice background for this, for our sentiments. Okay, and then we're going to slide that one up underneath, just like we did the other ones. And sticky that down, just like that. Now, before I glue those into place, I am going to go ahead and dust this all the way around again to make sure that everything is distressed. No white spots showing. The white edges from where I cut the paper. And then I'm just going to dust these, my favorite season. And these were all sentiments and everything that was in that collection from A Sound of Autumn by Ciao. Okay, so then we need our dimensionals on here. And when you're putting big ones on a narrow strip, pay attention to how you're putting them on so that you don't have them showing through. You need to trim them. Okay, now we have this one that says, my favorite. See how that's got a springboard in the center? I probably should have put one in the center too, or done a strip on there. And then this one could go right in here. Now if this was on a page or a tag, I'd want to go back and make sure I had something under there. But that's not a problem with this one. And there we have our pocket letter for The Sound of Autumn by Ciao. And now let's take a look at the tag ring that we did with this same collection. And we'll move this over out of the way. And here's our tag ring. I've gone through and I've embellished everything. I really had fun playing with these and putting these together while I was at Big Mama's. So we have our little fox and fiber and leaf. Now these leaves were punch outs using my trio punches from Stampin' Up! And then most everything else came out of the embellishments and stuff that were with this kit. Now one thing I do want to mention, and I'll come back to it in a minute, but here was some of the Cherry Cobbler ribbon seam binding from Stampin' Up! Now these leaves here, these were punched from the card, but this one was, I used orange alcohol marker over a piece of brown craft paper to get that rusty orange look. I didn't take any colors of cardstocks with me, but Big Mama had a nice selection of alcohol markers that I could use. And here I used my acorn punch and put it with the acorn leaves, and there's that little fox. Now on the eyes of the animals, I did go back through with glossy accents, and you'll also see some wink of Stella popping through there, like on the pumpkin. And there's the barrel of sunflowers. Now, I'm not a fan of putting these on here, but Big Mama gave me this, so I put it on this tag. Because this kit was nothing but sunflowers everywhere I looked. A lot of my lace trims that I took with me. I picked out a lot of the things that I had been working with here on these collections. And I die cut the elements for the pine cones. So I went prepared with a lot of elements to work with. Here, I slid open the mouth on the Bernard, and then I could stick the stick in there. Memories, I thought that was a good one with that house and the dog guarding the property. There he is again. Now I did have these kind of mixed through, but somewhere along the line they got all mixed up. Now here I did the brown craft paper, but I did this with a red marker, and then this one with an orange, and then the yellow was just part of the papers that I had with me. I had pre-cut all of the hole reinforcers and took them with me. And a lot of lace trims. I love this one with the, it's not really a burlap, but I got this from Big Mama and it worked beautifully with this collection. She also had buttons that I could use, so I hadn't thought about buttons when I left here and packed my kit. See how I did the sunflower centers with the glossy accents. And this little piece of green webbing here is this stuff. I have a whole spool of this from Dollar Tree in various colors. And I just thought it needed that pop of green. And here's that die cut that I did, and I just used part of the stick and trimmed it down, and that's what I put in the mouth of the Bernard. There's another one. A little bit of green burlap ribbon that I have. Now I'm not sure. I put these leaves on the back to cover the staple where I had stapled that fiber on. So sometimes you'll see stuff on the back where I was covering the staple up. That little hedgehog, I made his little spinies all glittery. The sound of fall, more of those leaves die cuts. Autumn is a second spring when every leaf is a flower. Absolutely. And there's more of those pine cones. More sunflowers. These did not get colored in. I probably should go back and do that just for consistency. And then there's the Bernard without a stick in his mouth. Isn't he gorgeous? So that is it. That was the last of our Sound of Autumn from Ciao Bella projects. I'm not doing one of these for October because we are doing the tags for the 31 days of Halloween. Tomorrow you will have, no, this afternoon. This morning you had the Tim tag for Tuesday. This afternoon is when this video went up. So thanks for joining me in the studio today. Please remember to like, to share, subscribe, and creative blessings.